LERVIG Sour Suzy.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Ben's Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is well and truly over the yardarm, which means it's time for a beer. And I've got a can of Sour Suzy from the LERVIG Brewery based in Norway. Now they're a craft brewer based in a place called Stavanger, which is on the coast of Norway, I think. Is it Stavanger? Yes, it is. Was that? Am I thinking of Bergen? I could be wrong. Anyway, it's in Norway, and they're an independent craft brewer. Their mission, they say, is to brew the best beer in the world. And what they've come up with here is a Berliner Weisse. Now, Berliner Weisses are very nice. I do like them. Weiss beer is my favourite. Berliner Weisse is different though. It's a sour beer, and it's become really popular. Before that, Berliner Weisse was really only popular in Germany, and according to my German mate, it was very much a woman's drink. You wouldn't get blokes drinking it, but now it just seems to have exploded all over the world, and there's a lot of American craft brewers that are doing this, and there is a lot of European brewers doing this as well, even some over here in the UK as well. And this one looks intriguing. Now, my ex was called Suzy, and uncannily she looks a little bit like the bird on the front, and she's flipping the finger, which was something that my ex used to do a hell of a lot, usually to me, hence the reason she's my ex. But there you go. Right, what have we got going on with this? Right, this is a 4% Berliner, which is in keeping with the Berliner style, because the Berliner Weisse style is usually low ABV, between 2 and 4%, and this is 4%, so it's just on the cusp of it. You can get stronger now. Brewers are doing it stronger, so you know, as they can. You know, there's nothing to say they can't do it. What are the ingredients on this? They have got water, barley, malt, and wheat, hops, and yeast, and not a lot else. Imported by Cave. Yeah, Cave, I think, are the, is it Malt Masters or is it Beer Merchants? It's one of them two, but it's one of them, and they import some fantastic beer, and worth checking out in this environment where you can't get your craft beer, you know, in a craft brew pub. So it says to drink this fresh. This is out of date on the 5th of the 2nd 2021, so this has been brewed in February, so this should be quite fresh. Let's stop gassing and let's start drinking. Right, out of the can I'm expecting some sour yeasty notes, and I'm not getting that. In fact, I'm not getting anything at all. That's amazing. Amazing! Give what's that, Jesse Lee Peterson? Amazing! This is what this is like. It doesn't smell of anything. I really can't. Now, I know my A-food's been playing out, but I've just had 2 beers before this, and I've got the aromas. No. Nothing at all. Alarm bells are ringing. Let's get it into the glass and see what's going on. Whoa. Berliner Weisse is usually hazy. This looks very clear. More alarm bells. Oh, maybe not. No, there's a slight haze to it. I take it back. I take all that back. There it is in the glass. hazy gold colour, straw colour, whatever you want to call it. Fair bit of carbonation, one finger white head on the nose, out the glass. And again, really not a lot. Okay, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe no aroma, big flavour. Unusual, but let's give it a go anyway. Cheers. Well, that's unusual for a Berliner Weisse. It is slightly sour. I'm not getting what I'll be expecting from a Berliner Weisse is big sherbet bitterness. You know that sherbet bitterness where you like sort of scrunch your face up a little bit. I'll be expecting that very tart feel, and then when you swallow that, you know, you've got that bitterness, but sometimes it comes back with a little bit of sweetness on it. So sherbet is what I'll be expecting. This hasn't got any of it. There is some slight sourness on it, yes. But what really sort of has thrown me on this, there is a biscuit malt finish on it, which is really unusual for a Berliner anyway. That's thrown me a bit. It really has. There's the Berliner Weisse has got, you know, it should be brewed with wheat, and you get a big sort of mouthfeel on that. That's got quite a watery mouthfeel, almost like lager, with some sourness on it, but not that sherbet sourness, and then a big malty, well, not a big malty, but malty arse end on it. And I can't help thinking that they've just tried to brew a lager here and put some yeast in there to give it some sourness, but I think what they've come up with is a sour lager more than anything else. That's what I'm getting anyway. Don't be wrong, I can get more aromas now. There's a slightly more acidic sort of aroma to it. But it's weird. In the mouth, you're getting that slight sourness, that tartness to it. But then that disappears, and you're left with like a weaker body, like a watery, so I wouldn't say watery, but a thinner body, and then malt on the back end. And there's none of that sort of real bitterness. That's unusual. I'm disappointed with that. If they'd have called it a sour lager, I'd sort of say, yeah, I know where you're going with this, and not a bad effort. But Berliner Weisse, it just hasn't got the body for me for a Berliner Weisse. Yeah, I think if you've tried the Mikkeller stuff, some of the German Berliner Weisses, and Stone do one, which is a true Berliner Weisse because it's been brewed in Berlin, or it was brewed in Berlin. They're really good. They've got the full body. This one hasn't, and I'm afraid to say that has disappointed me. What's the verdict on it? Well, alarm bells rang when I wasn't getting any aroma out of the can, and alarm bells rang when I poured it into a glass and it was reasonably clear. I mean, it's still hazy, but a true Berliner you shouldn't be able to see through. And the alarm bells rang when I wasn't getting much aroma out of the glass. But what done it for me was the taste. I don't think this is in keeping with the style. It is more like a sour lager or even a sour ale. I don't know whether that's been top fermented or not. Probably, if it has. The sort of yeast that's used for wheat beer. But it's not like a Berliner that I've tried. It hasn't got that intense sourness that Berliners have, and it hasn't got the look of a Berliner, and obviously, you know, not the taste either. I'm going to give this a disappointing 5 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, it is okay as beers go. If they called it a sour lager, I'd be intrigued and I would have bought it. A Berliner Weisse, if you're expecting them big, you know, really tart, sherbet-like flavours, I think you're going to be disappointed with this. You just don't get it from this. So yeah, that is my take on the Sour Suzy Berliner Weisse. A 5 out of 10. Not really recommended because I think there's better Berliner Weisses out there for the same price. The McKellar Wood Will Fall Down, I think it's called. That's a really good Berliner Weisse. And of course you've got all the German Berliner Weisses as well. This one, I think it's lacking. But there you go. And remember, I'm drinking this shit, so you don't have to.